Hey everyone, Django Fett here, Honey Down Games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more, and this is a review for Alien Earth, the TV series. So, this is season 1 of the TV series that came out, and there's some interesting things about this show that I was really looking forward to. Having it set on Earth and being in the Alien series, I was very much looking forward to this. So, this is set 2 years before the events of the 1979 film Alien, which I didn't know about. And it stars Sidney Chandler, Alex Lothar, Timothy Olyphant in main roles. And it began actually in early 2019 with Ridley Scott attached to it. And then there was some things that associated with it. And then it came out on August 12, 2025, with it focusing not on the alien itself, but on cyborgs, synthetics, and hybrids. So it mainly focuses on 5 different hybrids who are people who were about to die. They had cancer and set to die, transferred to a synthetic body, and a very strong synthetic body. And this is actually associated with, so that it's not just Weyland-Yutani, but you also have another force, which is, what is it again? A Prodigy Corporation. And that's headed by Samuel Blanken as Boy Cavalier, the CEO of the Prodigy Corporation and the world's youngest trillionaire. And they have a rivalry between one another, Prodigy and Weyland-Yutani. So it was interesting to see that rivalry play along. And what's unique about this show is that this had the concept of something that I've wanted for some time, where it has aliens on Earth. Of course, this is just kind of the beginning stages of this, so it's not going to be aliens everywhere on Earth and how they survive across for that. If you're familiar with Alien Resurrection, for those who are not familiar with that, it's not a good movie by any means. I'd love to rewatch it again just to see it again, just to see how bad it is. But one of the coolest parts of the movie was the ending, where it showed them going to Earth and then seeing Earth just absolutely obliterated by the aliens, and there's like nothing left. And I thought that was so cool, so awesome, one of the coolest endings ever, despite the movie sucking. But I wanted that to happen for this series, and I was hoping that it would come to begin to that stage. So this one has the ship crashing on one of the sectors for Prodigy, and this is actually a Weyland-Yutani vessel. So there's a lot of rivalry and dilemma between both another, and they send the hybrids to, get the specimens and stuff like that from the ship. And it's headed by Sidney Chandler as Wendy. She's the first hybrid. And then you have like 4 other hybrids as well. You also have Timothy Olyphant as the head of the synths and takes care of the hybrids as well, tries to lead them. And also you have just a lot of dilemma between one another, between the synths, Weyland-Yutani, and all these different factions. And then you also have the alien coming into the mix as well, or many aliens. So it's not just the one alien that you're familiar with, but there's other aliens over here too. So it's not just one species, but different others that are completely different from one another. And it's a very interesting show. I think the first half really works. It definitely nails the sci-fi alien atmosphere that I've always wanted. And, it's Alien. I mean, I couldn't resist. I had to watch this. And the writing seemed really good. And it's headed by Noah Hawley. He did the Fargo series and I guess Legion as well. I've actually never watched those, but I heard good things about it. And then he did this, and his name attached to it. I mean, that was a good sign right there, right then and there. However, each episode is definitely different. So it's done by many different writers, and they all have their own creative take, I'm sure. And it just seems like after the first 4 episodes, the show is very disjointed, and it focuses more on the hybrid characters than on the alien itself. You don't really get too much of the alien until towards the end. And there's a lot of inconsistencies with the show. It's just not very consistent with the alien lore, and there's a lot of plot holes too towards the end, and it really was a disappointment towards the end. And I know a lot of people have said that, but I think the first half was really fun. It was really engaging. I was really horrified in the beginning to see what will happen to the Earth and all this other stuff. We didn't really get that, and I thought this would actually be a mini-series. So it would just be this own self-contained series, because I like that. I'm sick and tired of shows just doing cliffhangers and just setting up for this and setting up for that and continuing on. I just want one contained show like Chernobyl or something like that. This was an 8-episode series, and towards the end, at the very end, they set up for a cliffhanger. Even though the show was not renewed for season 2, they set up for a cliffhanger, and it was such bullshit. I fucking hated that. However, I am not as unforgiving like Angry Joe is with his video, but I did enjoy it. I did have a lot of fun with the show. The characters, half of the characters are good, half of the other characters are not good. I love Timothy Olyphant as the synthetic, or is he synthetic? Yeah, he's the synthetic. He was really fun. I thought he was my favorite character in the entire series. And I also really liked Sydney Chandler as Wendy at some points, but then she just, got on my nerves too. Babao Cisse as Moro was definitely also another great character. And there are quite a few characters that I really liked. But then the other half I just didn't. Like with the synthetics, or the hybrids, I just wasn't a big fan of. So, there's a lot of good action. There's a lot of good cinematography here. The writing was good in the first half of the show, but then the second half, it definitely really fell for me. So, yeah, it's just a shame, man. I think they're just setting up for another season. They want to do more of this, even though it hasn't been renewed at this point. I do think there's going to be a renewal, and there's probably going to be season 2 and season 3 of this show. I think it has been successful overall, but I wasn't really a big fan of the ending, and I just hate how they just set up for cliffhangers every single time for TV shows. And I'm sick of it. I fucking hate it. So I gotta give Alien Earth a... I still give it an approval for me. I still enjoyed it, but there are some problems. I do get that. I really do get that. Ending really failed. But it is a fun watch if you haven't seen it already. So watch the first 2 episodes. They're definitely the best for this show. Probably the first 4, to be honest. Those are probably the best episodes. And then after that, you can just skip it, to be honest, because it goes just absolutely Stupidsville. And just a lot of questions for that. So I wasn't really a big fan of the second half, as you can tell. First half, really enjoyed. And I think I recommend you guys do the same for Hulu and just watch it through there. First half, and then just stop after that point. Let me know what you think of Alien Earth in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, if you haven't already. And I'll see you, my fellow Mandalorian, next time.
Oh, yeah.